on the Harvey thing, I'm in the other camp to Guy. I don't ever see a world in which he's a starter for us unless we're a team that's battling for 5th and 6th. I think that's his ceiling as a player, as a starter, is that he's a player that starts for a team that has a ceiling of 5th or 6th. And the issue I have is that if he's not starting, he's too valuable an asset as a 21-year-old English player to just sit on the bench and have cameos here, there, and everywhere. So that's why I would look to sell him. Because I think if you sold him and say turned around and bought Tyler Dibbling, Dibbling is a player that has the potential to be an every game starter for us. He's got a much higher ceiling than Harvey because the technical level might be the same, but the physical level is miles apart. Dibbling's a much better physical specimen than Harvey is. It's not Harvey's fault, it's just the way things are. The problem I think you're going to get with Harvey, and look, the interviews he gives are great, and he's very positive, and you can see he loves the club. It's all well and good saying things, but the fact of it is, 2021 he goes on loan to Blackburn, he plays 42 games. 21-22 he comes back to us, he is starting in the team, and he breaks his ankle, and he misses most of the season, right? Then he comes back 2 seasons ago, 22-23, 46 appearances, and last year 53. Does anyone think he's going to be happy if that drops to 30? And there's maybe 5 starts in there? He might, camera facing, be happy. Behind the scenes, he will not be happy. He will not be happy about that. And he's not going to sit on the bench week in and week out and let his career pass him by. He didn't.
Klopp considered him to be an absolute fucking go-to man.
He did. And let's be honest now. What's the common thing that 22-23 and 23-24 have in common that the rest of Jurgen Klopp's tenure does not have? Our defence was shit. And part of that is because he's a liability off the ball. He'll run around a lot. He's lightweight. He's slow. He doesn't make good decisions off the ball.
But you could see him being a transformative player, and I mean this in the best way, for West Ham and making them constantly in European football. Or you could see him go to Villa and make them fucking better, right?
I disagree. I don't think he makes Villa better. I don't think he gets in the team of Villa. Not with Morgan Rodgers there. But I take your point. A West Ham, a Brighton, a Bournemouth. Imagine he'd be brilliant in Bournemouth's team. Like he'd be ideal as that linking number 10. Palace. There's a whole bunch of teams. I would say anyone outside what I would class the Big 8, which is the typical Big 6 plus Newcastle plus Villa, because those clubs have the money to go and buy someone better. But Jurgen said when he was leaving, his biggest regret was that he didn't play Harvey enough. The fact of it is, he played him far too much.
He played him all the time.
He played him far too much, and it hurt the team. And he played him far too much, and it set an unrealistic expectation on what Harvey's role in the squad was. Because in Harvey's head, he has to have gone through last season thinking, I might not be in the best 11, but I'm number 12. I'm the first guy off the bench. And he just shouldn't have been. Like, Harvey Elliot is 21. He will turn 22 in April. In his career, he's played 176 senior club games. Curtis Jones is about to turn 24. Curtis Jones has played 160. Curtis Jones played 16 games less than Harvey, and Harvey missed a full year, well, nearly a full year, with a broken ankle. And didn't play a ton in his first season with us. Harvey Elliott should not have played that many more games than Curtis Jones. Mm-hmm. He might be a more talented footballer, but he's not a better footballer. Because the thing people overlook is off the ball. On the ball is half the game. And your part on the ball is a fraction of that. If we have 700 touches in a game and you've got 50 of them, that's it. That's your involvement on the ball. But all the rest of it is off ball. And Curtis, whatever the criticisms of him are in terms of, too slow to release, too many touches, all that kind of stuff, is excellent off the ball, both when we have possession and when we don't have possession. Curtis is very, very good in those areas.
Look at his foot in today when he's actually just after being crocked.
Yeah.
Right at the death in the first half. A little foot in. For a different footballer, it could have been a penalty incident. It wasn't. He did brilliantly.
You're tracked the runner brilliantly, gets his foot in, and we keep the ball in play as well. We don't even give away a corner off it.
And Harvey doesn't have that in his game.
No,
he just doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And that's not a knock on Harvey. He's just a different type of player. The problem is Harvey has a very limited use in this type of team. And in our midfield, when we've got a double pivot of Gravenberch and Alexis, neither of whom are the most physical players in the world. Like, Gravenberch is a good athlete and Alexis is tough, but he's not a great athlete, and Gravenberch's he's not a ball winner. He's not a tough guy. He's not physical like that. You cannot play a Harvey Elliott as a 10 against a good team. Last year, we were a joke off the ball when Harvey and McAllister were playing together. And McAllister's good off the ball. So the problem was Harvey. Again, it's not Harvey's fault. It was Jurgen's fault. But it comes down to fit. It comes down to partnerships, pairings, chemistry, and balance. And balance is the most important thing you can have. Alex Ferguson rarely had the best 11 on the pitch in his later years at United, but he was still winning titles because he always had great balance. There wasn't a weak point in a Ferguson team. Same with Liverpool under Paisley. There was often players you'd look at and think, well, he wasn't on the same level as these other guys. But they weren't a weak point. There was something that they were bringing defensively that was enabling them to play for that team. Or they get, like, say, Terry McDermott wasn't nearly the footballer that Souness was, but the pairing worked because McDermott had energy and he could score a goal. And he could score 20 goals in a season if given the freedom. Harvey doesn't have that. Like, he creates chances, but he creates a lot of low opportunity chances. He doesn't score a ton of goals. Like 176 career goals and 176 career games, only 20 goals. So nearly 1 in 9. Which, if you're purely an attacking player, which is what he is, that's not enough.
Is there an assist stat there from Dave?
I can pull it up now. And the other thing with Harvey is as well, like, I don't think Arne sees him as a midfielder, really. I think he sees him as a forward player.
I think so too. And
the problem is, how many forward players are he actually going to have on the bench? Because everybody's fit. And let's say, it's the starting three when everyone's fit is probably Mo, Jota, and then either Gakpo or Diaz, which means either Gakpo or Diaz is on the bench with Darwin. And then Chiesa is going to be on the bench. So are you really going to carry a 7th forward on the bench? Now, you can say, he's also the 6th midfielder. But he's the 6th midfielder. Maybe at the moment he's the 5th midfielder ahead of Endo, but either way, he's not the first choice midfielder off the bench. And he's the 3rd or 4th attacker off the bench. So again, that's not going to be a huge factor. And this is why I just think Harvey overall gets squeezed out a little bit here. So goals and assists, right? Harvey Elliott. In the Premier League, 84 games, 4 goals, 9 assists in 3,400 minutes. In the Championship, the year he played with Blackburn, 41 games, 7 goals, 11 assists, like really, really promising at 2,800 minutes. In the EFL Cup, 15 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, about 1,100 minutes total. FA Cup, 14 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, about 900 minutes, probably including stoppage time. Champions League, 11 goals, 5 assists. 11 games, 3 goals, no assists. Europa League, 10 games, no goals, 4 assists. So at senior level, he doesn't have huge assist numbers. He's got 20, 21, 22, 26. He's got 26 senior assists.
Right.
And, well, they say 20 goals. Like, that's not needle moving. That's not you build a team around this guy and make up for the fact that he's going to hurt you in other areas. You know, it's different with someone like a Martin Odegaard, who he's better off the ball than Harvey, but he's got some of the same issues as Harvey. But Odegaard has shown that he's capable of 15 goals in a season or 15 assists in a season. Harvey hasn't done that yet, and like we're challenging for titles. We cannot afford to have a lad really learning on the job when we've already got one learning on the job behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's nothing against the lad. I like him as a player. I just don't see him becoming a Liverpool starter, and therefore I would put him very much in the kind of sellable asset category, rather than have him stay as a squad player and maybe see his career drift. Like, I don't want that he just stays and, you know, he's just a guy that hangs around for 5-6 years and all of a sudden he's 27 and you're going, Jesus, like, he looked like he might play for England 5 or 6 years ago.
I know. And as Guy said, you would love to think that if we were to get 40, 50, 35 to 50 million for the lad, that we would see that invested immediately into some super thing for the team. But nobody has any faith in that at the moment, Dave. And that's
no, they don't. And that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
It's absolutely fair.